Hello, I'm David Dezina, publisher at Pflaum. I'd like to take some time to go through the confirmation resources that we have online for the Gifted with the Spirit program. These resources are available free for anyone. You just have to register your email address. These resources are great for program directors, catechists, teachers, parents, candidates, and even confirmation sponsors. Simply log on to pflaum.com, and then you would click on Gifted with the Spirit, and the page you see here is what loads. And you can access the resources in a couple of different ways. Right on the sidebar, there's information about the online assessments, which is a new feature we've added this year. So you have the assessments for every lesson in both the junior and senior high levels, in English and in Spanish, information about the entire program for the junior high and senior high, information on the catechist guides, as well as bonus resources, which we will go into in a moment. You can request samples if you haven't seen the program. And this gives a quick overview of the program itself, the new features of Gifted with the Spirit. When you click on bonus resources, again, that sidebar always is there. So this is helpful if you want to just send a link home to families for the online assessments. We can start with that before we even get into the resources for program directors, catechists, and everyone else. So looking first at the online assessments. These were developed primarily for home study, ways to know that the content has been taught if the lessons have been presented outside of a traditional faith formation session. So you can select junior or senior high, depending upon the level that you are involved in or teaching, and select the lesson. And then there's two different versions. There's a PDF version of the assessment, and a PDF will pop up, or the online assessment. So looking quickly at this one, you can enter your name, and then you enter the catechist or the email address that you want the results to be sent to. So you can designate an email address for the parish, or again, the catechist, or your email address if you'd like. And after they hit start, the assessment will begin. And you can, the candidates would answer all the questions. And then when the person finishes, they submit it, they get the results themselves, and a copy of the results gets sent to that email address. So this is the way that you can assess that the program is being completed and worked on independently, or in a regular session if you wanted to still do this as part of, say, a homework assignment or something as a follow-up. The same applies for all 8 lessons of both levels, and the Spanish version would be the same as well. Okay, so going back to the bonus resources, and I'm going to go through all of the resources. So if there's something that you find that's not helpful for what you need, you feel free to skip through the video. But we've received requests on having an overview of the video, of all of the resources. So let's start with the program directors. And one thing I will say is that you will see as we go through, there are lots of resources that are duplicated in each category. But we try to keep the resources that are useful for each of these different groups. So that's why they may repeat in some places, and other places they won't. So starting with the program director, and let's talk right off the top about what we've included here. Resources to support 2-year sacramental preparation programs. And what does that mean? Well, you saw that the lessons, there are only 8 lessons in the program. And 8 lessons they could be used as a semester. They could be used, semester program. They could be used over the course of the year and spread out in the midst of a traditional faith formation. There's lots of different ways that an 8-lesson program for immediate preparation can be used. But we also know that most dioceses and most parishes require mostly 2-year preparation, meaning that the year prior to the actual sacrament, the child, the candidate, needs to be part of the formation program. But that doesn't mean that you have to wait to teach about the sacrament right when you begin these lessons. So using the resources that we have here, you can intersperse confirmation-themed videos, articles, resources, even in that year 1, just to get the students and the candidates familiar, or even families for that matter, familiar with the sacrament you are about to teach. So here we have video links. And I'll just click on the junior high, and the same would apply for the senior high videos. We have curated videos from the web that are related to every lesson's theme. So here, the opening, called by the Holy Spirit, there's a talk about ritual and baptism. So there's a scene from Lion King, at the famous scene at the beginning. And then videos about baptism. Bishop Barron here is talking about the real presence of the Eucharist while we're talking about the sacraments of initiation. So you'll see those videos, and you can show these videos within the lesson, send them as homework, send them in part of a newsletter, or even again, ahead of the lesson's beginning. As you go through these videos, you can say, oh, this would be great to show this week or this month as you are sending material home to prepare candidates for the sacrament program. Okay, so you see the same again for senior high, and there will be another set of videos there too. For our Spanish edition of the confirmation program, there are videos in Spanish as well. Also here you see eblasts for parents, sponsors, and candidates. And these are overviews of each lesson. So looking at lesson 1, junior high again, a PDF will pop up, or a link, excuse me, a PDF. You could also download this or print this as a PDF. And it's an overview written to parents and sponsors that summarize what was taught in the lesson. Because we all know that teenagers don't always like to share what they're learning, what they're doing, and certainly don't like to talk a lot outside of maybe the session about what they learn in faith formation. So here we have a summary. So you will know as a parent, the catechist, as a great summary of the lesson and the key points that are being taught. So you can send a link home as part of a newsletter, or the catechist or a formation director could send this home each week, or you can have the parents go directly, because these eblasts are also available on their page too. You see this one for everyone here. And the same thing in Spanish. You'll see the same translated summaries in Spanish. Next is retreat planning PowerPoints. These are PowerPoint presentations on how to run a confirmation retreat. It's a great resource. It helps you build the retreat that you need for your parish. It's set up in 4 different segments. You can select each one that you'd like or watch all of them. It's a PowerPoint with narration. Very helpful resources by David and Ann, who have done many different confirmation programs and written resources over the years. On the right side of the resources here, you'll see reflections on the gifts of the Spirit for parents and teens. So these, again, could be used ahead of time or just something to enhance the lessons. I taught confirmation for many years and gave retreats, and I know that most programs have some, I say, background or some resource centered around the gifts of the Spirit. So this is what inspired us to create this resource. So for each one, there's a little summary with some prayer, with a prayer, and then a closing prayer, and then a way that the candidate could write this. So this could be an assignment. I can use this gift of the Spirit by, and then they can write. And then it goes to the next one. Here is the online assessments again. This is another way to access the same thing that you'd see up on the side here. English or Spanish, and the answer keys. Now the answer keys are available on the Program Directors tab and the Catechists tab. They are not found on the sponsor, candidate, or parent tab. Similar to what we just saw a few minutes ago on the gifts of the Spirit, we have similar reflections on the fruits of the Spirit. And this too can be downloaded, printed, link shared on the fruits of the Spirit in one way that you can use the gift or fruit of the Spirit. Next is a resource, a great blog entry by Kevin Dowd, who has worked with Pflaum for many years. And he too has given many confirmation retreats and workshops over the years. And this is a great summary to share about confirmation, what it means for a person to receive the sacrament. It's a wonderful article that could be shared, especially during the beginning of preparation. And then here, Prayer, Ritual, and Music Resource, A Future with Hope. Pflaum's sister company, 23rd Publications, has published a new resource called A Future with Hope. And it is indeed a ritual and music resource that can be used throughout the formation time during the year of confirmation preparation. So there's a great overview on how it works. There's a candidate prayer piece, like a small booklet that has journal entries and prayer. And then also there's, for the leader, a script for several different services, as well as music options with playlists through Spotify, which are great to use during prayer services in class. So just for every type of thing you think about, enrollment ceremonies, retreats, rehearsals, all the different things that you would have everybody gathered, you will see a script for that with, again, a playlist. And these are great playlists because, the teens are usually with using Spotify or other song, sites. And this could be a playlist that could be there as well. And they could be listening to this, hopefully, not just wishful thinking. They could be using this on their own too during private prayer. And the playlists continue to grow as we have new music that's written. We add and expand the playlists. So this is something that really can enhance your program, and I encourage you to look at the samples and take a look at it. So that's everything for the Program Directors tab. For catechists, you'll see some things that are very similar, and then there's some new things. First one on the top is a correlation on how to use the Gospel Weeklies, the Pflaum Gospel Weeklies program, with Gifted with the Spirit. And it gives different options for that. It's a very simple page that helps you understand how to integrate Gifted with the Spirit within traditional faith formation. Again, the online assessments with the answer keys. The video links for each lesson are here, just like they were in the Program Directors tab, as well as for Spanish. The reflections on the gifts of the Spirit. Again, something that we just saw before. There are reflections and a question, an area for journaling on each gift of the Spirit. The eblast for parents, sponsors, and candidates. Printable articles for each lesson that give a summary to parents, sponsors, and candidates. Prayers to know, or words to know. We have traditional prayers that we assume that anybody preparing for confirmation would be familiar with or should know. So they have them right here. Again, you can share these pages through an email. You can print them out, however you feel the need, whatever you feel is best. And words to know, which is terms that these are in English and Spanish. Words that would be pretty common or should be known by this level of junior or senior high. Now, these articles on the top right, we saw the one before, the blog post by Kevin, that gives an overview of being confirmed. And there's some additional ones that a catechist could use. It's a great article from Catholic Digest that talks about the symbols of the sacrament, particularly in baptism. And the symbols of the Holy Spirit. And then an article on being sealed with the gift of the Holy Spirit from Catechist Magazine. Bishop McManus, the Bishop of Worcester, Massachusetts, wrote this article about the sacrament. This is another wonderful resource that you can use during any time of confirmation preparation, but particularly maybe during a parent meeting or an initial inquiry meeting. The retreat PowerPoints that I shared earlier, 4 different PowerPoints with narration to help you prepare for a confirmation retreat. And I would say that a lot of this, in terms of preparing a retreat, could be done virtually if you have the need to conduct a confirmation retreat virtually. There are several articles here, and it's always growing. Articles for parents and candidates. Again, these articles could be sent home in an e-newsletter, an email, or printed out. On Priest, Prophet, and King, on confirmation, an article by Pope Francis, and about baptism, and then the importance of the sacraments. And this would be good certainly for people who don't go to church quite often, or perhaps for parents who may not be familiar with the sacrament if they are from a different faith. And similar to what I showed you in the Program Directors tab, this is the information on the music and ritual prayer resource by 23rd Publications. And that brings us to the parent, sponsor, and student resources. Just about everything you see here are things that are on the other tabs. Those same articles. So you could just share the link to this tab, just copy and paste the link that you'd see here, and it would take parents right to the parent resource tab, and they could explore this themselves, or you can tell them where to find it, or again, you can just send the links. The only thing that would have to be done is you, or a parent or a catechist, would have to enter your email address to register. After that, there is free access. There's no code or no password needed. Prayers and words to know in English or in bilingual format. Eblast for parents, sponsors, and candidates, so the parents can go directly here to review the eblast or the summary for each lesson. Reflections on the fruits of the Spirit. On the top right, you'll see an article on choosing a confirmation name. These are tips and tricks for a candidate or a parent in discussing how best to choose a confirmation name. Online assessments, again, no answer keys provided here. Similar to the confirmation name, selecting a confirmation sponsor. What things should be considered in choosing a sponsor? Reflections on the gifts of the Spirit, as we talked about before. These give an overview of the gift of the Spirit and how each candidate could be living out that gift. And then similar to the other pages, a blog from Kevin on the overview of confirmation, from the Catechism, an article from Catholic Digest on the symbols of the Holy Spirit, and then sealed with the gift of the Holy Spirit, an overview on the confirmation itself. And that's it. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions about the resources, have trouble accessing any of them, please contact us at editor@pflaum.com. Thank you so much. God bless.